everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm trying to sort out my light and it's not working for me. Okay, let's see. So let's start again. Hi and welcome. It's great to be with you. It is another wonderful Monday evening and we are coloring in Dark Fairytales by Kerby Rosanes, and this was a requested video, so I will be coloring Beauty from Beauty and the Beast in the library. She seems to be under attack by, or she is attacking these creatures. So we're gonna use polys, maybe prismas, whatever I need to create the tones for it. And the requested palette is dark greens, dusty reds, muted blues, and dark wood. So hopefully we can pull that all together and get something going. So I'm very excited for this. And I just need to find my channel. There are times where I think that YouTube changes their interface and suddenly everything is different and I can't figure out where I am. Okay, hang on a sec. Sorry everyone. I've got like Google signing me out and then I have to sign back in. This has been my day, the whole day. Is just thinking I'm organized and I'm not organized. Then one thing after the other comes up. But no problem, we will get going. All right, hello Shalom, hello Noel, how are you? Hope you are both well. I'm going to zoom more into this page. Bear with me. All right, so what I'm thinking is this page is really busy and we need to figure out our starting point. So when I face a page like this and I don't know what I do, I normally take the color palettes ideas and I have scrap paper. This is from a journal, I just cut it out. And then I pull out the pencils or whatever I want to use and I look at the swatches. So these are the Polychromos color combos of My Colorful Country Life. So I'm going to check and see if there's any colors here that we can use. And I've also got my Prismas, which are also the color combos from My Colorful Country Life. And I love using these combos because it just helps take a lot of this sort of work out of the equation for me. And sometimes I make my own combos, but other times I tend to refer to these just because it's so much easier. But I really do want to use polys at least in one section on this page just to test them on the paper. I know that I'm pretty happy with the Prismas. They are my favorites. So I'm thinking shelves and books we can do today. So I'm thinking if we go polys, we could probably go this sort of almost blackish wood. And that will create that would be really nice for the bookcases. So I quite like that. And then it was dark greens. So I don't really like if you look at the Prisma greens here and these greens, I think these are better greens. So if we go dark greens, maybe this one here or this one here. Feel free to let me know which versions you like. I really don't mind. But I'm going to get my polys out and I'm going to swatch them so that I can shortlist it onto my swatch chart. And I've been wanting to do a video kind of showing how I get started on a coloring page because I thought, you know, that could be useful. Obviously, there's so many ways you can get started. This is just what I tend to do is my process. And I mean, if you're new to coloring, it could hopefully help, at least inspire you, get some ideas flowing. And then there are times where I look and I think, I'm missing pencils. Where are my pencils? This is a regular occurrence. Okay, I don't have 179, so we'll just jump in. I can try a 178. Oh, there's 179. And then sometimes I lose it in the midst of all the pencils. Okay. So, oh, fabulous. I'm glad you like the dark black wood. That color. Seriously, my brain. Okay, so, book cases. I know this is like, can be so tedious, but I promise this saves so much down the line. Because you get to just have it all shortlisted and then it's so much quicker. And when you kind of just warming up, I find this is sometimes a really great way to get the brain ready for coloring. Okay, so I need 199. 176, 179, and 271. So don't worry, I will put all these into the description box below after the video. Okay, so the other one I like is this green. It's like really dark. So we'll pull that one out. So I hope everyone had a really good Easter. Or long holiday, long weekend. We were just at home, we didn't really go anywhere, but I think that was actually really helpful because we got to just unwind and be together as a family, and I think it was definitely very needed. Hi Carly, hi Angela. You know, the world, sometimes life just can get a bit too hectic, and slowing down is just what we need. Okay, 278, 17, got 170 and 176. Yep, this is a regular for me. I don't know where my colors are. This is not supposed to happen. I have a 275, but I need a 278. Okay, so that means I will just have to wait till I magically find my pencils. Okay, so that's the green. So I can at least write it under here. And then I'll magically rediscover where my pencils are hiding. So do you normally swatch and plan your pages? Do you just dive in? What's your way of doing things? Oh, thank you, Angela. I'm glad that you don't mind my process or watching it. I find it so much easier in the long run. Okay, I need blues. So that's some greens. Now, I thought that as far as blues went, I think maybe a muted blue, possibly this one with maybe some grays in it. So I'm going to switch over to Prismas. And I need a slate gray. I hate brain fog. It really is not fun. And I need a muted turquoise. Here's the muted turquoise. I can bring in maybe a 90% cool gray. Muted turquoise. And then I need PC1023. Which is here. Okay, I don't know where I've put my slate gray. Yay! Great! It's just a wonderful place to start. It's not having all your pencils together. All right. Oh, you do both dive in and also sometimes see what you want as you plan. That's cool. Okay, and then it was dusty reds. So, I'm not sure about dusty reds. Maybe that? I'm not sure. Or maybe that one? That could be. Just not going into the oranges, just sticking there. So, we want, again, I'm going to go Prismas because I think that will work better. So I want a Tuscan Red. I think that's a burnt, terracotta probably, and a burnt ochre. We can always add reds into that, so it's almost like a reddish orange, so we'll have to play with that. There is henna. Henna's quite nice. Okay, so now I'm gonna branch away from here and see what we like. So I find sometimes what's really helpful is I start swatching and then I actually get the courage to start trying because my brain starts to relax. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this will work. And then if we do a terracotta, I think that's quite nice. We could definitely work with that. We won't use the burnt ochre because that's going to go to red. But that might work. Or we could bring out mahogany. Actually, we could get out a dark mahogany instead of the 90% grey. So if we go like that with the Tuscan Red, I think you might like it even more. And then you can still keep a little bit of the 90% dark grey for like a really deep shadow. Okay, I like this one more. So you see 1067 shadow, and then you see 937 PC. Oh yes, we need mahogany red. 1095. I'll also mark it as shadow. That helps me. It helps me keep track. Like, okay, where are my shadow colors? Which ones aren't? Okay, so that's the red bits. Oh, I tell you, brain fog is the worst. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the red. Okay, so then I tend to cross out the one I don't want. So that's red, blue, no, red and wood. And I think that's a good starting point for now, because I'm not gonna map out the entire page. I haven't got my head around it. I'm just not, it's not gonna happen. I will find my other colors and swatch them later, but we'll use this. So I'm gonna do, I can do some of the books green and blue and red. That way it gives a variety. And what I like doing with that is actually using my midtones. I find that works quite well to just help me figure out where I am and where I'm going. Okay, so keep that to one side. There's a lot of books here. Now what I think is happening here is that the color in the center kind of needs to fade in. And I think the reason Kerby's drawn it that way is to create perspective and to bring her kind of more into the foreground. So the wood on the floor I haven't worked out yet, but I need to make sure that here I go lighter and lighter. So these books I'm going to leave kind of going last. This is I don't do perspective. Hi Dawn, how are you? It's great to have you. Hi Brittany. This is Beauty from Beauty and the Beast, and Beast is not in this page. She is a Beast is in a different page. This is just Beauty, and she's attacking or defending herself. I'm not sure which one. Okay, let's use Bistre 179. And I'll just go lightly there into the shadows, not the shadows, into the highlight. So when I map my pages, I do tend to do a light layer first. And I do this kind of on purpose, because if I go too hard too quickly, I can get my darks and lights and all of that wrong, and it also gives my brain a chance to ease into the picture and just figure out where it is and what it's doing. So the other thing, we've got candles here, so we need some candlelight. So if we get a canary yellow, all right, and just kind of do that. Also not too dark. I want to give it a soft glow. might catch a little flicker up here, a little bit in there. Some on this wing here. We can just do slight bits. Maybe a tad there. There isn't an awful lot of light, so we'll just do just a wee bit. It's not strong, so this candle isn't going to illuminate the entire page. Yes, one has been half cut. So this guy has been chopped in half. This guy's biting her. He's going to jump on her. You've got these dragony creatures here. She's chopped the wings off this one. That's really grim. Yeah, she's having a rage moment. Gosh, Dawn, it sounds like you've had a very, very hot day. And then come down here. All right, I will zoom you into this section here so it's a bit easier for you. And it also hopefully means that if I put my head too close, you won't see my head. All right, so what I'm thinking is if we use the Van Dyck Brown and we come in here, now a lot of these books here are in shadow, so we could probably kind of do a lot of, we can really go to town with this, make it all dark. I never like to use black straight into my pictures. I like to put down a color and then the black and then put the color on top. I mean, you could layer up browns and purples and build a dark black kind of thing, but you know, you'd have to decide if you wanted it to be, if you wanted the fuss. I think with also the way he's done the wood, you'd have to decide for yourself how much of a wood grain do you want to kind of put into the shelves, or just color, you know, a gradient. Again, there's no wrong way, it's just what you want to do. Yes, there are 3 of the same bad guys, and there's about 4 of the dinosaur bat critter thingies over here. Excuse me. All right, so if I take my black, so I was filming my mermaid video, and I noticed for the first time light fastness in my pencils. Now, when I buy my pencils, I tend to really focus more on like my Prismas because I use them the most. But when I first started coloring, I never paid a lot of attention to light fastness. I kind of heard about it, looked into it, understood what it was, but I never went and looked at any of my coloring pictures to see, how it was panning out for my coloring. And also bearing in mind, I've only been coloring about 5 years, I think it is. Yeah, as I started in May 2020, about this time in 2020 during the lockdowns. So when I was doing my videos, I actually realized that the light fastness and the pictures I used with castle arts is not actually as good as I thought, or not. I'm not even sure I considered the light fastness of the castle art pencils. So I noticed it when I was looking at my first portraits, and when it comes to the brown tones, the brown is really there, but when it came to any of the red tones, the portraits actually have started to look a lot muddier. So that's been an interesting experience, realizing that pencils actually do vary in light fastness, and it is important. But then I questioned myself and wondered, was it not sealed properly because I don't always put a fixative on my pages. So, I'm thinking to myself, maybe I need to actually be a bit more intentional about putting a fixative on my work. So for those of you who have been coloring much longer than I have and have more experience, what would you recommend, and what have you noticed as far as light fastness in your pages, in your pencils? I'd love to hear your thoughts and learn from you. Hi Shannon, how are you? go. No one not noticed. That's cool. I mean, I don't think light fastness is an overall, you know, biggie, because at the end of the day, we're not selling our art. We're just enjoying coloring in beautiful artwork, beautiful illustrations. Oh, thank you. Glad you're loving the wood. Yes, that is a lot of books to color. So here was my other thoughts. I thought, you know, do I color this shelf all blue books, this shelf all green and red and so on? Or do I go 2 books blue, 1 book red, 2 books green, 2 books blue, 1 book green, 2 books red, and alternate it? Because I was trying to imagine what she would see in such a library. And of course, Beauty and the Beast, especially the Disney Beauty and the Beast, is my absolute favorite story. And I love Disney's Beauty and the Beast. It was just such a fun retelling of it. So I always think of Belle's reaction when she walked into the bookstore, and not the bookstore, the library, and she saw all those beautiful books. So I'm like, well, you know, was it actually color coordinated? You know, and then my brain gets filled with all the Instagram stuff that you can find if you go and search bookshops and book libraries and all of that, and people's dream libraries, and you know, it's enough to confuse the brain. Yeah, I suppose kind of like a rainbow, but also trying to, you know, alternating would look good unless you get burnt out. Yes. Yeah, it was just, that's sometimes where my brain goes. It's just, you know, it gets caught up, and then I have to reel it back in and go, no, it actually doesn't matter. Nobody cares what color it is, as long as it's colored. Honestly, if it is anything like my bookcases, there's books and they're all muddled up, and then if there's gaps, then there's books on top of books. I actually need to declutter my bookshelves and create a bit more space. No, I can't leave the books all white. That will boggle my brain. It will feel completely unfinished. And if I was to leave it white, then and actually color them white, I would have to go in with grays and bits of yellows to make sure it is white, because I would feel it's uncolored. Although, you know, I think it could look very beautiful to have all your books beautiful white. But yes, that side of my brain won't cope. Blue, pink, yellow look nice. That is true. Blue, pink and yellow do look nice. So after this page, I will, if I can, I will probably go into the mermaid page for mermaid. I just draw the line on the double page spread where the mermaid is going to feed the prince to the sirens. I can't even get my head around, I can't get my head around that page. Jewel tones are nice. Yes, they are. So I'm trying to build up the color. And then after a while I get fed up and I just press really hard and get on with it. And all right, I'm done. But I was thinking the floor could also be a wood, but maybe a different wood, which means I really do need to work on darkening this wood up, so that if I do a lighter wood here, it can stand out. And then I think I was thinking the decoration on the floor here, it could be like a carpet where it's yellows and blues. Maybe we could use paint pens, because I'm not sure how much decoration this needs to have. Yes, yellows and purples are lovely together, and yellows and blues work really well. Yellows and purples are actually complementary colors on, is that right? No, they're contrasting colors on the color wheel. And because they're opposites, it's what makes them work so well. Okay, let's do a few books. So it's hilarious. Let's color books without all the colors. Okay, this one can be green. And we'll just make it random. And then I'll do like gold pen for all the spines. And we can make some shelves have more of one color than the other, and hopefully that way it will also look quite varied. Yeah, this is boggling my brain. My brain is not liking this. Like, even if I draw perspective, my brain struggles. I think I would have to probably really sit in lessons to learn how to do perspective. My one son, he takes to perspective drawing quite well, actually. When he shows me his, on the occasions when he does draw, I'm always so amazed at how he enjoys it. And my husband is also very good with that sort of style. Okay, so on these ones, I want to just bring in the dark green here. I honestly feel like with these books, you don't really need to fuss over them. I think it's more important that the main stuff stays the main stuff. and then some blues. Yes, drawing is great. But when you don't feel like drawing, or it's not your thing, coloring books. That book is lying down, so we need this color here. Okay, so just building up color. So I think the red books, I will probably color them complete. Gosh, it sounds like you guys have had a lot of heat. Hello, summer. That sounds really sore, Shannon. I've heard, and as far as I know, aloe vera is really good for sunburns. Okay, I really need a sharpener. So I would recommend when you're coloring this page to use very sharp pencils. And have a sharpener nearby. Oh dear, I thought I kept it out. Okay, I'm just quickly going to get a sharpener. One sec. Okay, I'm back with a sharpener. There's lots of nooks and crannies, and sharp pencils go a long way. Sleep well, Dawn. Hope you have good dreams. I was so surprised, and also it wasn't a surprise. I went onto Pinterest and I was looking at, I think I was trying to find inspiration for some of the Kerby pages, and I've started seeing so many beautiful colorings for this book. So I'm actually really excited to see what everybody's coloring and how they're coloring and interpreting the pages. Oh my goodness, that does not sound like a fun dream, swallowing your tonsils. Yikes. How did you feel when you woke up from your dream? Oh really? Nothing unusual for you. Fair enough. full. Well, we will get some lovely bookstores at this rate. Bookshelves. Thank you. Yes, they are coming there. We are getting somewhere with these books. Throw in a bit of blue there. Here. Oh wow, that is that is such a funny dream. You had one where AOC drove me home in her ambulance because I couldn't find my husband or truck. Wow, you guys have some cool dreams. If I dream 10 times a year, it's a lot. It used to bother me that people around me could have so much dreams and wake up and all of that. And I used to think, oh, what about me? I don't dream. And then I realized maybe it was a blessing because I could actually sleep. And my body really does better with sleep. So maybe it was kindness that I don't dream. So down here I'm not really going to fuss. I'm actually going to use a light pressure because it's kind of fading. So it doesn't really need to be too strong. So here, if you follow the lines, you're getting a bit of bookcase kind of peeking in there. Oopsie. You just have to kind of draw in some of that bookcase around this monkey thingy's hand. And that will help to draw in any books. And just creating that like impression that there's books. Right, so we're getting a bookcase. 2 hours to color a bookcase. And sometimes I look at things like books or food or certain coloring elements and I think, oh, it's okay, it's not going to take me long, this will be quick. And then lo and behold, it takes me a long time. I don't think there is a cure. I can't help myself. Thank you. It is a lot of details. I like it though. Right, I think I'm going to branch off into my own thing. I need a blue. Let's try Prussian blue. Let's see if I do a Prussian blue on top here. So I'm using the Prussian blue to bring just enough of a blue to just kind of help the blue books stand out a wee bit. I don't feel that they need a lot of attention, or like, how do I put it? They just need enough to kind of help them stand out. If I do, so this is the 90% cool grey. If I dust that there and then go over the blue, so the grey helps to mute down the brightness of the blue. And I can just kind of glaze over a bit of this. And I'm finding it's just lifting the blue out a wee bit. Oopsie, don't want red. So it just lifts the blue out, but I'm trying really hard to not move it out of its muted tones, because we did want it more of a muted green. Yes, I do love that his books make you think. But it's so interesting because Kerby's books, they keep you engaged, but yet they don't feel impossible. It's a lovely mix. I actually find that with Dark Fairytales, there is I really appreciate how Kerby's mind works. You know, I feel like he really understands colorists. All right, let's try a pine green here. Pine green and then the 90% cool gray. also thought these books could be like slightly old style books, so maybe more vintage. Oh, yum. Carly's having ribs. Yes, we're getting there, except I have so many books left to do. I'm expecting this page to take me probably 4 lives, depending on, well, okay, let's not say 4 lives, 4 videos. Because I can try and work on these books another time, you know, the rest of the page. So then the other question is the sky a grey or a blue or muted orange? Okay, I wouldn't do muted orange actually, because if you're gonna do brown, so we could do a bluish sky, and then we can bring in the background. I don't, yeah, because like the time of day and all of that does come into it. Right, I need another red book here. Oh my goodness, Carly, I read that as I need to buy a new girl. I'm sorry. It took me a while to register. You said you need to buy a new grill. I actually think I need a new day. I'm sorry. That's it. I'm quitting. I'm not quitting my day job. It's not happening. Just now YouTube penalizes me. I seriously need to stop faffing over books, like really. It's okay, girl, you don't have to have the books look anything more than books. Well, I can tell you that the polys and prismas do work quite nicely together, and I'm not really having too much issue on these small areas as far as getting them to blend. You can use them interchangeably and it's fine. But if you like polys, you probably already know that. Okay, so we got those books and we've got those down here. Maybe we can just deepen it up a touch. They almost become like blobs of color down here. If I'm not careful, they'll look blood-stained. Just muddy it up. All right, well, I'm not sure if the wood is dark enough, but I think the inside of the shelves is great. I think it will balance out in the end. Okay, so then here this is down, so that probably could be colored just straight wood. I don't think that is colored too differently, so we could just do that. Okay, I'm gonna move back onto the wood and deepen the wood up. One itty bitty section. And then we have the back here. So I think if we just do that all the same color, that would make sense. There's books up here. Okay, I'm gonna just use this for now. The other joy is if we color something and we decide it's not our thing, we can always get another copy of the book and just redo it. See, my brain is going, there should be books along here. But I don't know if that is what it's supposed to have. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of it is for it to be a hobby. At least this is what I actually tell myself. You know, it's a hobby. It's meant to be fun. Can't really go wrong. Not really. Exactly, it's all in our heads. I mean, I think this is just a wood panel and it's the same wood as the rest of the wood of the bookcases. So we'll just color it that way. Oh, I'm so glad you saved your page. Sometimes the things we learn the most are when we're trying to save our pages, or, you know, we learn more from our mistakes than we do from getting it right. You're not doing that again. Fair enough. So I think this will work quite nicely. Just take your black pencil, and where you want it really dark, you press hard, and where you want it a bit lighter, just come out a bit lighter pressure. So, do you color for Mermaid or do you color something else? How do you handle themed months? Is it your thing? Mythographic May, that's cool. That's a cool idea. Oh, cool. You've done Mermaid a few times. It's a cool idea to do a mythographic May. If you get the Frozen Fantasies, there's one mermaid there. I think it depends on the mythographic book you've got. I think there was a Fairytales. Was there Fairytales mythographic? I mean, there might be mermaids in that one. I don't have a lot of mythographics, although I do like them. I just don't get to coloring all the books that I have. Fair enough, Brittany. Sometimes it is wise to have no buys. Eating gluten-free and dairy-free will help a lot. I'm a big fan of eating right actually heals the body. I mean, I'm not saying it heals everything, but I do think we are what we eat, and I'm a big believer in eating and supporting the body with food. So I've been gluten-free for, I think I'm going close to 6 years now, and I also try and avoid sugars. Sugar and my body is not a good combination, and I recently bought myself a book called Eat Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz, I think her name is, and it's so good. And back in 2018 I got quite sick. Anyway, medicine helped up to a point, but then I knew that there was only so much medicine could help me, and I ended up with a temporary reactive arthritis. And I knew for me I needed to heal my body by looking at what I ate. So that's when I went gluten-free, and I did play around with dairy-free, and for the most part I have very low lactose. I try to keep it low, and it works really wonders. I mean, I can really, if it's any encouragement, I can really say that eating gluten-free and dairy-free and looking after your health and eating well wherever possible, you will reap the benefits of it, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, you're going into like you're supporting your guts and your microbiome and your microbes, and that's really important. There's so much about the body that I think we're starting to just scratch the surface of, as far as, you know, not so much dietitians, but nutritionists and doctors who are interested in nutrition and the impact it has on the body and all of that. I mean, when I'm not coloring or reading or doing creative stuff, I actually really like to tinker with my own nutrition and exercise and all of that. I mean, I'm not an expert at all, but I do find it very fascinating. It does. Gluten-free foods do cost more than non-gluten foods, and it's something that I feel personally is just not helpful. I wish with all my heart that gluten-free food and you know, dairy-free and those sort of things, that it was as easy to access as the regular foods, because there's so many people who for various reasons have to be on a gluten-free or a dairy-free or a nut-free or whatever it is for their health, and they shouldn't have to pay exorbitant prices to look after their health. So it's very, my husband hears me gripe about it a lot, because I do think it is an injustice, and I feel strongly about it. I try and make a lot of my food at home, because then I know what goes in it, and I can manage it. It does require more effort. I won't lie and say it's not easy, or that it is easy. It's not always easy, but it is definitely worth it. Yeah, it's so hard. It really is. But we just do the best we can with what we can, and you know, take it from there. I really do find with polys I need to keep layering and layering. I'm like, am I done? No, I'm not done. I need it darker. I need it deeper, richer. Exactly, for people's health. I mean, yeah, if only it's a tricky one, because you know, it's not long before we end up in a, you know, discussing politics and all of that, and that's just a very charged topic, I think, for a lot of people. So I try and avoid politics, because everything in life is so interwoven, and one thing feeds into another. But yeah, when it comes to food and people's health, it shouldn't cost an arm and a leg. It really shouldn't. It should fall under, you know, like basic human rights. people should be allowed to have good health and access to food that will support their bodies and encourage them and just looking after themselves. But then, then I start stepping into like my version of a utopian world, because I mean well and I care. And then it's not doable because it's not the world we live in. And it's so many things out there. Like if people have IBS, and you can go on a what is it, the FODMAP diet. There's so much out there. I put myself on an elimination diet, and the person who helped me was my old pastor's wife, and she was actually studying functional medicine. So she just helped guide me onto an elimination diet and kind of the process behind it, which actually really helped, because then you learning what foods you're sensitive to, and you're paying attention to how your body reacts to it. Oh wow, okay, so the AIP is an elimination diet. That's so cool. They are very insightful when you do them. Right, so we're building this up now. I feel like we're getting somewhere. Slowly. Getting somewhere slowly. Let me put a splash of color by his bottom. Oh, I'm glad you like the wood. So the next question is, what color do we do the creatures? Because, that's another dilemma. What color are the creatures? They're definitely fierce. I mean, we could give them red eyes and make them really like magically crazy creatures, or we could give them black eyes, brown eyes. It's actually amazing how just doing the back here is giving the whole page dimension. Greens. Okay. Do we want green creatures or green eyes? Crazy monkeys. We could make them grey actually. Could make them grey monkeys. They could be the South African vervet monkeys gone crazy. The South African vervet monkeys are not nice monkeys. They're everywhere, you know, in certain areas. They're quite common, but they're really naughty. You don't want to mess with them. But they're a mixture of greys and browns. These are Polychromos and some Prismacolors. I don't have the Albert Durers, not yet. Maybe one day. I will put all the pencils down in the description below after the live stream, so they will be there for you. Oh, fabulous. You're still working on Sleeping Beauty. I'm still trying to edit the last video I've got of her. Well, of my page of Sleeping Beauty. It's taking me a long time. I had to speed up the video to shorten it from 3 hours down to 2. That's so crazy. So I am working on that. So this, I should probably weave in some color in here. So I'm going to bring it out very lightly into this area here. very gentle splashes of color around her hair because it's more up. Oh, hair is tricky. Yes, I can understand that. I mean, the real thing with hair, if you're comfortable with fur, hair is just similar concept. But even if you just do a gradient and, you know, get a few places where it's highlighted and keeping your shadows, you'll be fine. Well, that's cool, Brittany. The lady behind Ruby Charms Colors is in the process of updating swatch charts. Those swatch charts are very helpful. Really helps that you get to know your pencils or your markers or whatever it is that you use. Okay, I think I'm going to pause here. I can't believe it's taken me 2 hours to color just that much. But that's pretty much my process for the books and the shelves. So I will see what I can do during the week, and then I will try and come up with some more ideas for next week, Monday. So I'm going to zoom you out so you can see, and I will update you. Okay. All right, so there we go. That's how we're looking so far. So I think the colors are quite great. I'm not sure if it's dark enough, but I think as it comes together, it will look great. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for chatting. I hope that you all have a great week ahead and happy coloring. And I look forward to seeing you next week, Monday, same time, same place. And until then, everyone, take care and enjoy your coloring. Bye.